Oh, what a beautiful Monday morning. Said no one ever. I am tired. I hope everyone's had a decent weekend now. Everyone's a little bit rested, taking some time. I just need to set this up quickly because I have just been triggered. And it's we have flown all the way to the upside immediately. 20. Decent position looking now on Pound New Zealand. We might as well start there because that's the first position that I've been triggered into this week. Looking for the break back below the consolidation, back below previous resistance, previous support through here. So once we get through there, we should be pretty clear with regards to a push to the downside. If we go to the weekly close last week, you can see we had lovely rejection, pushing into that kind of shooting star situation or gravestone doji situation. So we've seen that the price action is there, the rejections are there. Big engulfing last Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. And then obviously we started to see further price movement throughout the week. So we shall see what happens. We've come back this morning already overnight. Let's just go back to the 30. We came back, we gapped last night. We've pushed up throughout the evening, retested that range high at 190.80 and looking to push back down. So as long as we can get a close below 190, I set a pending order and got triggered into it. So if we can get a close below 190, then happy days. If not, I've only got 0.6% risk involved in the position. So if I lose 0.5%, then so be it. We'll let that go this morning. But it's certainly this area through here at 190 that is of most interest. If we come to the 4 hours, we can see it as well. You can see where we've used this area previously as resistance on quite a lot of occasions. We've used it as support. We can come all the way through, see where it's acted as support. So it's a big level for us for where we are at the moment. It will certainly lead to a push into 88.50 if it comes. If not, have jumped the gun a little bit looking at pending order. But we shall see how we play out. Definitely a break below 190 though should lead to that 88.50 level being found. So there's a decent risk to reward on the table. I think that I've got 1 to 4.5, so nearly 5 on the table. So we're talking a solid 3% gain off a 0.5%. It's 0.6, so looking at the best part of a 3% gain out of it. So I like Pound New Zealand. I'm a big fan of the short. It also ties in quite well with Aussie New Zealand, which is a position that I'm not yet triggered into, I don't believe, but I will be very soon. I have a pending order set at the 20 level. I'm just going to double check that though, but I'm pretty sure I have a pending order set at the 20 level. Yeah. So I'll be triggered into that momentarily, I'm sure, which is fine with me. Seeing these swings forming in the market, ascending trend line's been broken. Again, you can see where we've used this area as resistance. Come to the 4 hour time frame. Resistance, support, resistance. We're either going to see it act as support and a bounce to the upside. Personally, don't see that. Or we're going to see a break back to the downside. If we go to the daily time frame, you can see where last week's close. You can just get rid of the trend line. That's not amazingly necessary. Last week's close, a lot of selling pressure, a lot of rejection. Thursday, Friday, again, a lot of selling pressure, a lot of rejection. Exactly what we'd want to see. Would very much anticipate even if this is a new higher high on the daily time frame and we're looking at a trend reversal and we're looking for price to go long, we're still going to see that pullback. We're still going to see that retracement come into play, and that's what we are looking to capitalize on here. Looking to push down into kind of 160, potentially a little bit further into 105, but we shall see. Just looking for that new swing to form, a new swing low. So even if we are going to go back to the upside, we've banked on the retracement. And then obviously we can look to flip that position as and when we see signs, the correct confirmations and correct signs to do so. Or obviously we have now gained the decent entry en route to finding a potential drop back below and a continuation of this. We've just seen a correction here. So it all depends. There's no overwhelming signs of either direction at the moment, but there are potential to take a decent few pips from the short and vice versa, taking it from the long. If we don't break below, but we do break back above like 107.40, for instance, then it would probably be quite sensible and quite smart to look to just flip the position, take the long back up to the range high, come back to that 4 hours, back to this range high, similar situation, bam, straight back into 108.50. So there's a lot of potential in the Aussie New Zealand trade. There is in pound New Zealand also. I don't discount the long above 190.80 at all. So we'll just see how things progress with that. Aussie Swiss is another pair. Looking for the short, but the Swiss franc has been a bit weak this morning. It's taken a bit of a battering since opening. In actual truth, though, can't say I'm that surprised. We saw quite a large push down without very much real pullback. I think what we're likely to see is price push. Well, you can already see that we've pretty much done it already. Price to push into these lows to create that new swing. So if we now break back below 10 at 0.6840, then I would say that we've got the potential to take that short, get a solid short entry en route down to 67.20 and back down at these lows. Come to the 4 hours, you can see it's slightly better. Back into these lows and previous resistance region, we'll look for that to turn into support. But again, you can see where we're just consolidating. We've just got this little range low forming here at 68.20. We need to be extremely mindful of that. It would probably pay to be looking to enter below 68.20. CAD yen I have not yet looked at this morning. I can already see that we've started to push up from last night. Looking for a CAD yen short, to be honest. I really quite like the pop below. You can see where we are. We're just caught in this little consolidation region at the moment. Definitely missed the opportunity to take a range trade on from the lows just because we gapped last night. No point taking that position. I think looking at current price action and where price is trading from at the moment, we're very likely to see 81.50 retested and refound. So I think we see a pushback down with CAD yen before we get any real signs of where price action may be heading. I do particularly like the idea of breaking below these lows at 81, back down to 80.50. I think the daily sets up for it quite nicely. That push back down. So we shall wait it out. We'll see what happens. Last week's closure again, very yen heavy. So I like it. I like CAD yen. I like the possibility of it. Obviously, it's early doors. It's still Monday morning. Anything can happen. We still have the London Open to come yet, so we've got a lot going on that still needs to play out. Just trying to have a little think. I think we've got like a Euro speech, which we'll just want to keep an eye on the euro dollar. Have planned a euro dollar position. That I'm looking for either to break above 122.20 at 122, and I want to get the break above 122.20 before I enter. I think that has quite a lot of potential to it, and is a pair that I am extremely interested in this coming week, alongside gold as well. But for different reasons, we go through that in a minute. I just can't see the US dollar gaining too much strength this week. But we see with a Euro speech and President Lagarde speaking in a couple of minutes, we're very much likely to see a bit of a reaction, and I'm pretty sure we've got Lagarde speaking again at a later point this afternoon, about 5 o'clock, I think it was. So we will probably see at 4:15. Sorry, we'll probably see some movement surrounding that. So today's a very Euro data heavy day. We're going to need to be mindful of it. There's a few speeches today that we're going to have to be mindful of. So it's a cautious approach to the market kind of day today, but I do really like euro dollar above 122. 122.20 is probably where I'd like to gain my entry from, and then obviously look to see that push up. Likely to see that come all the way back up then to. For some reason, my eyes this morning, it looks like the levels aren't the same colour, which is tripping me out. So you can see the previous range that we had through here before. That's what we're looking to break back into, and then looking to simply range trade between 122 to 124. But we shall wait and see. Shorts are completely discounted until 120.50 goes. So we're in a little bit of a no man's land, but we are a lot closer, and a lot like price action is looking a lot more promising for that break to the upside than it is to the downside at the moment. So we shall keep an eye on that. Just keep a watchful eye on how Euro USD progresses throughout the week. But it's Monday. If I only take one trade and only sit in this pound dollar all day, then I'm quite content with that. I assume I haven't been triggering that yet. Then I'm pretty content with just being in one position. If I take a 0.5% 0.6% loss this morning, then again, so be it. We shall just wait it out, see what happens, and see how we progress. Again, we are starting to see, though, Aussie New Zealand, that potential. If we break back above 70.40, 70.50, that kind of area, then we may look to flip to the long, also pull out of pound New Zealand. But the support is acting exactly the way I would expect it to act. In actual fact, to be perfectly honest, once we break through and get a close somewhere around 89.80, I'll probably add another position if it presents itself. If not, then so be it. CAD yen slowly making that move to the downside. Aussie Swiss we've been through. We've got CAD Swiss to go through. CAD Swiss again looking for that push to the downside, looking for a bit of Swiss strength, but certainly to capitalise on the apparent CAD weakness that we have. We can clearly see last night where we had gapped, come to the upside, so we're looking to create an early swing, I think. We'll see how the 4 hour goes. I would probably envision us pushing a little bit higher. I'd envision kind of around 0.70, that kind of area, to be able to make that new swing high from. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait it out. I'm still not going to look to enter until 69.50 is gone. But once we get below 69.50, I'm relatively comfortable with the potential short position back down to 69 whole number, and then look for the break below that. I do, however, just think we'll probably end up sitting in consolidation. The beauty of like this CAD Swiss pair, for instance, is that we don't need a particularly big stop loss. So while the like 50 to 60 pips that are on offer isn't exactly what we would be looking for typically when it comes to a risk to reward profile, what we are going to see is that we're just going to get away with like a 20 pip stop loss. So 1% is still giving us a 3% return, or obviously higher depending on how the position plays out. The fact that we're still creating this lower low, lower high situation would give me a good indication that once we get below 69.50, 69.60, that it's a good time to enter that position and look to take a short. Obviously, if we do continue to reject and the support does hold, we've seen it happen previously, then obviously we will look to range trade from 69.60 up to 70.20. We'll just jump out of the market a little bit early. We're not interested in, for the sake of another 20 pips, I'm not interested in potentially missing out on the opportunity. So we shall wait and see how things play out. I'm certainly not against CAD Swiss pushing back to the upside a little bit more. I would be hesitant. I understand why we're seeing this at the moment. If we just run a crosshairs through, we can already see all through here where we've got all these wicks and we've got the previous resistance regions. So I can understand why we're rejecting from the area that we are. I would have, however, preferred to see a higher pullback, a higher push to the upside around 70, along somewhere in line with this previous resistance region before seeing the push to the downside. But we shall see how things progress. We'll see how things play out and go from there. But there's plenty to be looking at. Lastly, I just want to go through gold as well. There's quite a lot to look at this morning. Quite a lot to be going through. I just need to clear levels because I know that we're trading in a little pocket at the moment that we can see a potential break back below. So if you can see this previous area, this is where we're currently stuck. We're currently sat in this little zone, and I'm just looking to get the pop out of this. We can obviously see here in this level that we've got this previous resistance, and that's all well and good, but given the fact that that has played resistance previously and support currently, want to see the pop up above that before taking any potential short positions. But I'm certainly looking for the long entry and to play in with the dollar weakness that we've currently been talking about. And at the moment, the higher probability for that long entry is above 1863. Once we get out of that little range, out of this little period that we've been consolidating in and trapped in, then we should see a push back up. And from 63, we can see that we're definitely in line to come up to 96 into this region, and then from there definitely up into 19. So 05. So there's so many pips on the table when it comes to gold this week. If we just quickly run through here, give ourselves around about a 50 pip stop loss. You got a 300 pip first target, 320 pips. So a big old position that is setting up should we see that pop above. I know that Biden's speaking today, and I know that there are some US data also, so we need to be mindful. We need to be a little bit careful of it. There are a lot of factors that are going to go into us being able to take this kind of potential position. So we shall have to wait it out and see how things progress. As things are going at the moment, obviously, pound New Zealand is the only thing that has triggered. Aussie Swiss, again, content for that to push up a little bit higher. CAD Yen, content for that to push a little bit higher. I wouldn't mind seeing a retest of 81.80. CAD Swiss, definitely want that to come to 70 before going short. So it's just a morning of kind of chilling out a little bit and relaxing, but we've gone through, we've had a look at kind of what my eyes have been seeing, what I planned over the weekend, what was sent out in the weekly newsletter, the reasoning behind it. I read back the weekly newsletter this morning, and it didn't read particularly great. It didn't articulate very well when I was writing things out on paper. So for that, I apologise. But in regards to the thought process and the thinking behind these positions, I think the analysis is pretty sound. I think the levels are spot on. So we just need to wait for the markets to give us some kind of indication on potential direction. And then we'll go from there. We'll see how things progress. Not looking to rush into anything this morning. As I said, I do have a couple of pending orders set up. I am obviously in pound New Zealand that is triggered. I am pending sell stop at 72 on Aussie New Zealand. And I have a sell stop at 69.60 on the CAD Swiss setup also. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how the day progresses, see how the week progresses. But I'm feeling this week, I feel like we've got the potential for a solid and strong week. Last week was a bit slow, a little bit choppy, and took a little while to get into it. It's taken a little while to get into this whole year, if I'm perfectly honest. You can set up and you can think and have all these amazing ideas planned, and this year is going to go amazing, and this is what we're going to do. And when push comes to shove, nothing ever plays out the way that you expect it to play out straight away. So it's not ideal in that sense, but there's a lot going on this week. There's a lot of potential. There's quite a lot that we can look to take. I really like pound New Zealand. I like Aussie New Zealand for either that long or the short. Euro USD is certainly something that has a lot of contention. Gold, as I say, would love to be able to take that long position should it present itself. So many positions there that are setting up that look great. We're early on Monday morning. We shall see how things progress. The London session hasn't even started yet, so there's no point trying to get ahead of ourselves at the moment. But yeah, we shall see what happens. On that note, there's nothing else I really want to go through, or nothing else to go through this morning, so we shall probably call it quits there, and then we'll see how things progress a little bit later this afternoon. It might be the fact that it might be worth doing a little session this afternoon. We shall see. To be honest, the US Opens haven't been too exciting, so there's not really been too much to bother streaming in the afternoons at the moment, but we'll see how things progress. We'll see how things go. I'm just going to keep a little watchful eye for the next half an hour on Aussie New Zealand and pound New Zealand, just because I don't want to see that rejection. There's no point giving away 40 pips if it's very clear that price isn't going to go my way. So we shall just wait it out, see what happens, keep an eye on things. But hope everyone has a good day, whatever you are doing, wherever you are. And like I say, we'll catch up at some point during the day, I'm sure. probably do something on Instagram a little bit later. But I hope everyone has a good day, whatever it is that you're doing, and I will catch up with people later.